from Newcastle International Airport. It's a lovely, bright and sunny morning here in Newcastle. A little bit breezy, but quite pleasant. It's, as you can hear, there's a little bit of wind, but overall it's not too bad. We've got a few movements this morning. Got British Airways A320 over there, KLM's 737-800. We've also got a Logan Embraer 145 that's just descended. That'll be landing in just a few moments, and a few other movements to keep us busy for today. But yeah, once again, very good morning. Mark Sanderson, good morning, mate. Lovely to have you with us. Claire Martin, good morning as well. Lovely to have you all with us. Hope you're all keeping well. Hope the live stream quality's okay. Let me know. Stephen Marchant, good morning as well, Stephen. Great to have you with us. Your favourite spot, Mark? Yeah, this is 29 years ago. It's one of my favourite spots as well, mate. Overlooking the runway. Well, overlooking the whole of the airport, but primarily. I've got a dodgy HDMI connection. Sorry. Right, folks, you should all be able to see and hear me now, right? So basically, I'll give you the story as to why it dropped out. So it's nothing to do with signal or anything like that. So basically, the HDMI cable, as some of you will know, broke on the last live stream. So basically, the end of it keeps going on and off, and gremlins. No gremlins. Sadly, I wish it was a gremlin, but it's not. It's a known issue. So basically, the HDMI cable keeps going on and off because it's a bit of a dodgy connection. Janet Lowe, good morning. Welcome to the live stream, Janet. Great to have you with us. So, I ordered a replacement cable, but A, I ordered the wrong cable, and it came on Friday, and B, it's actually too short, so it's only a metre long. I don't know why. I thought a metre would be okay, but it turns out a metre isn't okay. So anyway, this HDMI cable, the end is bent on it, and it keeps disconnecting. So again, apologies, it's nothing to do with the actual signal, and I just need to try and monitor it and make sure it doesn't happen. Sound like Chris Ramsey. You'll have to enlighten me, I've not a clue who Chris Ramsey is, mate. Anyway, we're just going to try as best we can. Like I say, I've actually got that HDMI cable with me. Like I say, it's just far too short. I did manage to get a new Type-C connection. The Type-C one works absolutely fine. It's just the HDMI cable that looks into the camcorder. It's dodgy. But, I need to shout. Oh, don't tell me the wind cut's playing up on it. I just need to check and make sure the wind cut's working. Alright, we'll try that. We'll see if that's any better. Let me know if the audio on that's any better. Let me know if that audio is any better or worse. I've just changed it from 5.1 to normal wing cuts. See if that's any better. Let's say, unfortunately, it is a bit windy, folks, so it's not going to be the easiest to hear me, I'm afraid. So KLM is just pushing back behind the terminal there. It's Alex Aviation, hello, welcome to the live stream. Comedian, I'll have to look him up on YouTube. I will indeed, mate, I've never heard. And Alex Aviation, hello, much better, and the same. Okie dokie, right. I will save you. I'm actually putting my hand just in front of the microphone just to scare some of the wind noise, so that may help at times as well. Not discounting that. Right. Anyway, we've got a Logan Air Embraer 145, which is just descending into land now. It should be landing in just a few minutes. And we've got also British Airways A320 that's just been yeah, a few nice little movements. We've got France coming in, the Emirates coming in. It's a little bit later than usual for the Emirates today. But yeah, should be in shortly. Need subtitles, is it that bad? Oh dear. See again, folks, it might be the HDMI cable that's Alright. Just trying a couple of things. Trying to block the wind. Yeah, let us know if that's any better. Unfortunately, there isn't much more I can do because it's an open and exposed spot. So, yeah, sadly. It's very windy. It's very windy today. Yeah, it is. It is very windy today. Very, very windy indeed. KLM and British Airways is over there. Logan Air is on final approach. That'll be landing. So they'll be going very shortly. But like I say, I've got the new HDMI cable, but it's absolutely useless because it's too short. But yeah, not too bad. That's better. Thank you very much, mate. Unfortunately, it is a windy day, so not an awful lot can be done. Anyway, it's lovely to have everyone on board this morning. We've got quite a lot of quite a few movements planned. Anyway, just pan over. Emirates delayed till 11:37. Newcastle fly. Thank you very much. Great to have you with us as well, mate. Should still be here for the Emirates going. We've sorted out some of the battery issues, which is good, and yeah, we should be able to carry on for a little bit longer, hopefully. Right, Logan Air should just be coming into view in a second, folks. There it is there. Logan Air's Embraer 145 from Southampton, and tomorrow Newcastle United are playing against Southampton up here in the northeast at St James's Park, and that'll be for the Carabao Cup. So that's happening up here in the northeast tomorrow. Yeah, Very unfortunately there's a little bit of a crosswind from the northwest, so that's going to make things hopefully a bit more interesting for this morning. Vincent, yeah, it's a very easy spot to find, mate, but it does require about a 30-45 minute walk. So yeah, it's, like I say, fairly easy to get to, but you do have to be prepared to do a good bit of walking or cycling. So it used to be a fairly decent spot that you could park at, but unfortunately more and more people abused it and annoyed the neighbours, so the farmer put up no parking signs. So, and I've known one or two where the authorities have been called on them. So yeah, it's a public bridleway, but unfortunately it's from say Callerton Parkway or further afield. Right, got the British Airways A319, which is just taxiing over there. There it is. The British Airways just taxiing. And a little there as well. Stephen Marchant, cheers mate, that's alright, I'll have a look later on. Thanks again, no mate. There's the British Airways. He'll be taking off fairly early down the runway. They always tend to, and when it's windy they go up even quicker because there's fewer passengers on board. Now at the moment, my right hand is absolutely freezing, so I'm going to put a glove on. Mark Sanderson, last time we flew to Amsterdam, we got to the end of 2.5 to find out the ground tube was broken. Yeah, that's a shame, mate. That's a shame. Yeah, it's there was one the other day, I forget which one it was. I think it was the oh man, where am I looking? There we are. British Airways. There was one the other day which was an EasyJet Europe A320neo here at Newcastle, and it taxied down to the end of runway 25. It got there, and then for whatever reason they then turned round, came back down runway 25, vacated, taxied to the terminal. So I don't know if it was a disruptive passenger or what, but yeah, you do get some. Yeah, and the vandalism up here, you still get it. The amount of times you come here and there's beer bottles and rubbish and all sorts of stuff. It's really in the last 10 years it's got a lot worse. And then this past 2-3 years the farmer just had enough, sadly, which is a shame. It spoils it for a lot of people, but the reality is an airport like Newcastle needs an official viewing area. That's the top and bottom of it. JT Jets, thank you very much, mate. It is windy, yes, it's quite breezy today, but the wind is dying down little bit by bit. It's gradually becoming less, which is nice. So yeah, hopefully it dies down even further. I'll tell you what, it certainly is cold behind your ears when you've got the bottle on behind you. Vincent Heath, so sad about Flybe. It is sad, mate. It's very sad, but unfortunately it wasn't unpredicted. Flybe, ever since they restarted, have had a really weird way of operating. So for instance, last year they announced Newcastle to Belfast City, and I booked myself to fly on the inaugural flight from here, and within sort of a month I got an email saying, we're very sorry to inform you, but your flight has now been cancelled. And then in November, I couldn't believe it, on Twitter about a week before they launched flights from Belfast to Newcastle and Newcastle to London Heathrow, they announced it 1 week in advance, which is absolutely mental. It just doesn't give anyone a chance to book. It doesn't give anyone a chance to to look and discover those flights. So it's a bit stupid, really. And even though they were adamant that their management was different to the original Flybe and all this rubbish, it actually, if anything, was a little bit worse because they were so haphazard and ridiculous on some of the routes they chose that they actually ended up finishing the airline even sooner, so it's a bit of a shame. But not exactly unpredicted. There we go, there's the British Airways shuttle just getting airborne. The KLM's been pushed back, but he's just on stand, on a remote stand waiting. Yeah, that's right, Sam. It's daft because, I mean, Teesside, you know, give Ben Mayor credit where credit's due. He's actually done wonders for Teesside Airport, but seriously, building a viewing area there, you know, compared to here in Newcastle is just daft. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. They used to have a lovely viewing area. They did indeed, Newcastle Flyer. I can remember when the original viewing area, well, not the first one, my dad can remember, when he was growing up in the 60s and 70s, the one where you used to be able to walk out on top of the terminal. The one I can remember is used to be at the very front of the terminal over there, just where that spinning red radar is. It used to be on that side, and it was at the top in the entrance as you go in through the airport. And there used to be a cafe and everything there. And you used to be able to go in, have a drink, watch the planes, look over the airport and everything. And then it all changed and it all got closed, unfortunately. But yeah, an airport like Newcastle definitely. So I think happened with the Ryanair last week. Interesting. It's happened to a few different ones. I remember a few years ago there was I think it was the KLM Embraer 190 in the Sky Team livery, and they taxied out, got to the end of the runway, and for whatever reason, I can't remember if it was a crew issue or something had cropped up, and they ended up having to taxi all the way back to the terminal. They left Newcastle with about a 2-hour delay because Amsterdam was struggling with movements that day because of wind, so they ended up with a slot delay after going back to the terminal, and yeah, that delay was carried on for most of the flights that day, if I remember correctly. Not another breakdown, I hope, for KLM. I hope not as well, Mark. I hope not. It did, yes, Mark. It did. It all closed after 9/11, sadly, unfortunately. But yeah, like I say, it used to be a cracking spot. I remember going there with my dad, and would quite often go up, meet some family, have a drink, have a bite to eat, and everything. But you know, as just a young kid, it was great fun, you know, going to the airport and watching the planes and everything. Britannia 757s, my Travel A321. What else did we used to have? Had the Air Southwest Dash 8s. They came, the Air Southwest ones, so they were after. So I remember catching them with the purple and blue livery. They used to be great. From Plymouth. They used to fly from Plymouth up to Newcastle using the Air Southwest Dash 8 300. That was a cool movement to see. And then Air Southwest was taken over by Eastern Airways, and they had the Dash 8s for a little bit, which was interesting. Probably your flight, Mark. You were due and there was a storm there. Interesting, mate. Very interesting. It's could well have been. I'm just looking over the top of the 25, over runway 25, and I don't know how well the camcorder will pick this up, but there's a whole flock of birds right over. I've just lost sight of them now. There they are. There's a whole flock of birds just over there. There they are. And they keep going right over the centre of the runway and hanging around there, but there's loads of them. There's absolutely loads of them. Just over the runway there. Well, just zoom back on the KLM. Should have departed by now, but still no movement. There's a US Air Force KC-135 just off the coast, and I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it might be refueling. The only issue is that I cannot see it because there are no contrails, but there's a US Air Force KC-135 just off the coast at about 26,000 feet. I cannot make it out at all. Cannot see it. I don't know, is it just me, but I've just clicked on Flight Radar 24, and it says on my side that Flight Radar 24 is down. Is that just my side, or is anyone else having the same problem? Could you let us know in the chat, please? That'd be much appreciated. Yeah, I think that Ryanair, JT, I think that particular Ryanair had a tech issue. I think one of the ones I know at the airport mentioned that it had a tech issue, hence why the Learjet came in. But the good thing with that is one of the decent things with Ryanair, though, is that they have a very good technical and support team right across Europe. So they always tend to get the aircraft up and running, fairly quickly if needs be. But, it's so annoying. I can't even see that KC-135 at all in the background, which is a pain. There's no contrails. John Kenneth Williams, good morning, mate. Great to have you with us. How are you doing, John? Hope you're keeping well, mate. Lovely to have you on board. Took off 20 or 30 minutes later. Yeah, they're pretty good. Like I say, they've got a good technical and engineering team. I've seen it happen where there's been a plane coming into Newcastle or Edinburgh, for instance, and there's been a problem reported by the crew, and the airline have actually got the part or got the team together, whatever, and they've dispatched them from, say, Stansted or Dublin, whilst the aircraft that needs fixing is en route. And then when it's arrived here, there's been a delay of, say, an hour and 20, but the Learjet has been here with the technical team waiting for it to arrive. The plane lands with no major technical issue, but whatever the issue is needs sorting anyway. They then rectify the problem, and then the aircraft continues straight back into flying again. I've seen that happen a couple of times, and the Ryanair, contrary to what a lot of people like to diss them and make jokes about them, which is fine, it's fair enough. But in terms of an overall operation, they operate one of the slickest, most efficient operations in Europe in terms of keeping aircraft going. Even British Airways and Lufthansa struggle to reach that same level of operability that Ryanair has. So it's quite impressive. But yeah, something I've seen a lot of over the years, and it's never disappoints. Vincent, you prefer radar box? You're good, excellent, John. It is good. It is good operational. It makes operational sense. Even the likes of recently here at Newcastle, we've now got the base, the two Ryanair 737-800s based here. One of which you can actually just see in the video there. That's one of our based 738s. Even something like that, you know, you spread your crews around, you make it easier to minimise disruption. So for instance, if Leeds flights end up having to divert, or Edinburgh does, it's better because you've got crews to work with here in the northeast, which is great. EasyJet used to have the same thing, but EasyJet, you know, during the pandemic, massively reduced the numbers of people that were working for them. They cut the base here at Newcastle and many other things, and ultimately they're actually paying the price for it now with their load factors and their profits overall. So, you know, it's even, you know, Wizz Air probably went the opposite way and being a little bit too aggressive with expansion during and post-pandemic. Again, the Ryanair one was just a little bit more controlled and a little bit more logical, you know, focusing on routes that work. Wayne Tennant, hello Wayne, great to have you on board, mate. How are you keeping? That's 517, nice one, mate, nice one. Well, I've just booked, I hope you have a lovely time, Wayne. I've just booked to go away as well, so off to Madeira at some point, so that's going to be, cannot wait for that. It's going to be good, it's going to be good. And I hope you have a lovely time. It'll be interesting to see here at Newcastle if we get one of the Jet 2 A321 Neos based here in the next year or so. That'll be interesting. There's not much activity happening just now, folks. We're just waiting for some more movements. The Ranger's just over there doing a runway inspection, and it's going to have a quick browse just to see when the next movement is going to be arriving. Just bear with me one moment. Oh, and I can see, sorry folks, I can see that there's about 52 of you all tuned in at the moment, so very good morning to each and every one of you. It's lovely to have you all on board. Just having a quick, oh, Flight Radar's working for me now, woohoo! Just having a quick browse on Flight Radar to see when our next movement is coming in. Yep, Newcastle Fly, you're absolutely right, mate. They are solid. It's one of the few operations that you can, honestly, you can book a flight with, and you've got pretty much guaranteed confidence that, you know, unlike of the relaunch Flybe, you're not going to get an email saying, "Oh, we're very sorry to inform you, but your flight's been cancelled." You know, I think I've had 2 flights cancelled with them in the past 8 years, and it's just, you know, if you want to travel, you want certainty, or a good degree of certainty, and you know, they may be low cost, but at least they give you that anyway. I think it must be nice for them coming on a Learjet, definitely. yeah, that route, the Newcastle to Madrid route, I used it a couple of times, and honestly, I think going out from Newcastle to Madrid was quite quiet. It was a fairly empty flight, but coming back from Madrid to Newcastle was nearly 80% full. So the load factor coming back to Newcastle was pretty decent. Excuse me. But it's good to see them have a base here, and Jet2 as well. Yep, Jet2 have got their own ops team as well, which is handy. We're going to be getting in March, so just another month. We're going to be getting another based Loganair Embraer 145, and the Aberdeen route from from Teesside to Aberdeen is going to be moving back to Newcastle, so we'll have Newcastle Aberdeen again, and the crews are getting moved up here as well. So it's a win-win. It's one of those routes, the Aberdeen route, which is fluctuated, and it's jumped between Newcastle and Teesside, and then Teesside Newcastle, then it's gone back to Teesside, now it's coming back to Newcastle again. So I think in terms of Loganair operating it, this is going to be the third or fourth time that Loganair have actually launched Aberdeen Newcastle, Newcastle Aberdeen. So yeah, quite interesting. I'm not going to lie, looking forward to it. It's a nice excuse me, it's a nice route, and if you want to go to Norway or Scandinavia, it's a good route to have. Excuse me folks, I've got the hiccups and I haven't even had anything, I haven't even had my cup of tea yet, so it's just a little bit it's a little bit on the cold side, put it that way. Wayne Tennant, you hear that Ryanair getting the split wingtips? They are indeed, yes, they're getting most of the old 737-800s refitted. One of my mates reckoned, and he works for Ryanair, he reckoned that they were only getting the E-regs done. It turns out they're not, they're getting the D-regs done as well, so I was completely misinformed. And I messaged him after the photos from Prestwick came out the other week of the, I think it's Echo India Delta Lima Yankee, an Edinburgh-based 737-800. When the photos first surfaced of that with the split scimitar wingtips, I sent him a photo and said, I thought you said it was only E-regs. To which he sent a bit of a worried face and like, oh. So they seem to be doing most of them by the looks of it, which is great, which is fantastic. So hopefully we'll see a few more of those in the future, which would be nice. Just having a pan around, we've got the Jet2 737-800s parked over there. We've got Loganair's Embraer 145, which is departing, I think, to Stavanger at 10:15. So I'll be going in just a few minutes rather. And we've also got, well, we're still waiting for the KLM 737-800, but at the moment he's running a wee bit late. But not to worry. And then we'll have the Aer Lingus coming in later on, and a few other ones as well. So a nice selection for this morning, if they all arrive on time. And then we'll end the live stream just after the Emirates has arrived. You had your first flight in a de Havilland Chipmunk from this place. Golf Bravo, what was it? Bravo Uniform India Foxtrot. Nice one, mate. Very nice. Well, if you're ever interested, Jason, I would wholeheartedly recommend, if you took your first flight in a Chipmunk, get yourself up to just north of here. You'll probably know it, Eshet Airfield. And if you go up there, they've got a collection of 3 old RAF training Chipmunks, de Havilland Chipmunks, and yeah, get yourself up there. They've been restored, they're airworthy, they do offer pleasure flights as well in them, and I suspect for you, having had your first flight in one, that'll be quite a nice experience. So yeah, if you're interested in the Chipmunk, and if you're interested in doing some flying around the northeast, again, you know, do check them out at Eshet Airfield. It's a really good little operation they've got going there. Thank you for sharing that as well with us. That's really interesting. Appreciate that. Mark Sanderson, Teesside. Yeah, say no more, mate. Loganair's ending their Belfast City route to Teesside, and the Aberdeen one on March the 24th. So after that, that's it, until Eastern Airways probably announces the same route a month later. It always seems to be the way. When Eastern Airways goes in, Loganair goes out. When Loganair goes in, Eastern Airways comes out. It's just, it's a funny thing they have going on there. Yeah, it'd be great to see some new airlines, JT. It'd be really, really good. But you know, we have what we have, and you know, honestly, in comparison to some airports, actually what we have is pretty good. This time of year, obviously, it's a bit quieter because of the because it's the winter season. So obviously, you don't get as many movements. But you know, overall, I think we've got just the right amount of routes. We've got just the right amount of based aircraft to make it a really good little operation. You know, I can still remember even when likes of Thomas Cook were here, and it was, you know, years ago it was busier aircraft-wise, there was no doubt about that. But in terms of passenger numbers, the passenger numbers weren't where they are today, and we can kind of thank Jet2, Ryanair, British Airways and Emirates for that. But and TUI as well. So yeah, overall it's not bad, but more would be nice.
Delta Lima Yankees is 16 years old. It is indeed.
Ace Airstream, yes, Ace Airstream. Ryanair is fitting the split scimitar winglets out of their own pocket, and the fuel savings will, you know, make a massive difference even the likes of this year. But as well, you've got to think as well, Newcastle Fly, I think you just said that it's a 16-year-old 737-800. Essentially what they're doing is they're just, you know, increasing the future resale of that aircraft. So for those of you who don't know, Ryanair's got a little bit of history of selling their older generation of 737-800s, which then go on to serve with other low-cost airlines. So, you know, they're actually just adding value to the aircraft in a way, because a lot of the ones that were sold during the pandemic are now flying with likes of Amazon, Prime Air, and with DHL, West Atlantic. I think it was West Atlantic, was it? Oh, let me just get it. I'm sure the oh, I need to double check this. I'm sure West Atlantic got one from them. I might be wrong there, but anyway, a lot of them were converted to cargo and are now still, you know, operating absolutely fine. So it just goes to show you how well looked after they are. And yes, they might get a bit of abuse through an unhealthy number of fairly firm touchdowns, but you know, they're still good to operate another day. And yeah, they're very trusty, reliable aircraft. So it shows how they look after them, and not just look after them. As you can see from the split scimitar one, they're investing in them to reduce their overall carbon footprint, which, let's face it, if British Airways started that initiative years ago with some of their Echo Uniform Yankee registrations, when the Sharklets first came out in 2013, 2014, and British Airways, I thought, was going to, you know, refit all of them, and they didn't. They just refitted the Yankee registrations, and that was it. But yeah, some things make sense, other things don't, but not to worry. Ryan Phillips. How come a few weeks ago there was an Iberia flight in, and it was Ryan Phillips, the Iberia CRJ 1000, I think it was, which came in. That was operating a flight for, now let me remember, who was it for again? It was, I can't remember, was it a basketball team playing here, or was it Real, oh, what do you call them? The football team, Real Valladolid, somebody. Oh man, who was it? It was playing against Newcastle. It was just in between, whilst the Premier League was off, and there was a bit of downtime. They played this friendly against the Spanish team, and I forget who it was. If someone can remind me in the chat, please, that'd be amazing. Thank you. I can't remember, I'm afraid, but I'm sure it was football related. Nice to see Lufthansa A319 tomorrow. Yes, it will be. It will be. Keep an eye on that one, JT, because the last time that Lufthansa scheduled the Frankfurt flight as an A319, they ended up using the Star Alliance livery A320, the one with winglets. They ended up using that A320 on the Frankfurt to Newcastle route. So keep an eye on it, because it sometimes does change. And it's a nice one to see here as well. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. Andres, oh sorry Andres, I just missed it. Newcastle Fly, remember back in the 80s? Oh, nice one, mate. Nice one. I've still got videos of when Air Transit, you'll probably remember, mate, Air Transit used to fly here, but when the passenger numbers were low, Air Transit would fly from Toronto, let me get this right, was it Toronto to Exeter, and then they flew from Exeter to Newcastle, and then Newcastle across to Canada. I've got videos of their A3, I think I've got videos of their A310 and A330 here at Newcastle, which was pretty cool to see. And then unfortunately they ended the charters and focused more on fun and sun flights, which was a bit of a disappointment. But yeah, back in the good old days, mate. Back in the good old days. Real Valencio. Craig Cullinan, you flew on a CityJet RJ85 back in 2015. Nice one, mate. Nice one. They were cracking little aircraft, the RJ85s. Absolutely loved them. Absolutely great aircraft. I was very fortunate at the end of 2021 because if anyone's watched my video yesterday, so I uploaded my Jota Aviation RJ85 flight, and it's basically the last flight to commercially operate for fare paying passengers in the UK. That was the end of 2021. The airline was operating for Loganair because Loganair's ATR had broken down. So I quickly booked it the day before, and my idea was fly down on the morning flight from Dundee to London City, do some plane spotting, and then fly back from London City to Dundee in the evening. I then got information the day before saying, we're very sorry to inform you, but the morning flight has been cancelled, which I couldn't believe. However, the evening flight from Dundee to London City was still going ahead. So I worked out my options, thought hard and deep about it, and thought, right, I'll message the airline, see if I can wangle my way to fly down from Dundee to London City on the RJ85, get off the aircraft, run through security, grab my ticket, because I had to check in at London City as well. For some reason the gate agent at Dundee wasn't capable of checking me in on to the return flight, which is weird. But anyway, I had to get off the plane in London City, sprint back through security, and then board the same aeroplane flying back to Dundee with just like a 20 to 30 minute changeover time. So I messaged the airline. They said that was okay, but it was at my risk and they couldn't guarantee that I would make the flight. I messaged London City Airport, explained what I was planning. waited and waited and waited all day for them to get back to me. Oh, the KLM's taxiing. Woohoo! KLM's taxiing, folks. And I arrived at London City Airport on the RJ85, ran off, went to check-in, and there was a whole queue of people at check-in. And I looked and thought, you know what, if I wait in this queue, I'm going to miss the flight. So I walked past every single person in the queue, went to the front of the queue, excused myself, and explained to the person at the gate that I was about to board this flight going back to Dundee. She was very understanding, and she said, "Oh, is your name Jonathan?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Just bear with me 1 second." And she reached over to the other side and got me my already pre-printed tickets. So London City had got my message and had actually printed out my tickets ready for me to check in there and then, which I couldn't believe. And I quickly ran up, thanked everyone in the queue. Some people were looking very... some people were giving me daggers. And I said thank you to those who let me in the queue. And I managed to quickly run through security and get back on the plane. So yeah, that was my experience on the RJ85, flying down to London for 20-30 minutes and then back again. So yeah, it was quite a fun experience, and sadly not one that is going to be able to be repeated. Right, KLM's taxiing, and just to add to the excitement, woohoo, we've got a Jet 2 pushing back. Woohoo! Jet 2 737-800, that's just pushing back over there. We've got the KLM just going down there. Right, sorry for waffling on, folks. I will respond to all your comments. I do apologise. I'm just having a bit of a moment. As soon as you mentioned RJ85, it stirs up a lot of emotions, you see. Newcastle Fly, you were on the BA 747 in 2010 for the 75th anniversary. Nice one, mate. Nice one. That was the one flight that I... Every single time I go away somewhere, a good movement always seems to arrive at Newcastle. I was in Malta for that 747 on the 75th anniversary. And then the other year I was in Malta and a Russian Volga Dnieper Illusion IL-76, of all the aeroplanes to arrive at Newcastle Airport, an Illusion IL-76 arrived from Shannon. Oh wait, no, sorry. It was meant to land at Shannon. It didn't. It continued on from Shannon and landed here at Newcastle for a refueling stop, which I couldn't believe. And here was me sat in the Mediterranean in Malta thinking, well, I can't just pop up to the airport now, can I? You know, and it's, oh, that was absolutely gutting. Absolutely gutting. But yeah, do you think we'll get a water cannon salute? I think the Sun Express will, yeah, definitely. It's a new airline here, it's never operated to Newcastle before, and it's likely to be a 737 MAX, so I can't see why they wouldn't give it a water cannon salute. I think that's probably the most likely, definitely. But then saying that, they might do it for the Loganair Aberdeen flight, which I think is less likely, but you know, it could still happen. Could still happen. Johnny Captain on the 747. Nice. It's stranded at T5, so you got the full tour. Nice one, mate. Nice one. Love experiences like that. It was like in 2010 I flew with EasyJet from here down to Bristol, and the cargo hold on the A319 had frozen, so the captain asked all the kids and anyone else who was interested if they wanted to pop into the cockpit. So I spent about 45 minutes just sat on the jump seat in this A319 cockpit, just watching the comings and goings, and the maintenance team was coming back and forward and relaying info to the captain. And oh, I was just in my element. I was in my absolute element. Right, here comes the KLM then. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Not sure how delayed this is, but I'm sure it was meant to depart at about 9:20, if my mind serves correctly. Beautiful, beautiful. focus our eyes back over there, and that Jet 2 737-800. I'm not sure where it's going to, but it's pushed back and it looks like he's ready to rock and roll, so yeah. Phillips on the 4th of August. Oh, that's a shame, mate. That's a shame. Oh, there's Jet 2. There it is. Jet 2 737-800, just taxiing along to runway 25. Did I give any of the kids a chance to go in the cockpit? Well, this is a funny thing. I was actually quite lucky because I was one of only maybe 5 or 6 other ones on the flight, because it was just after the New Year. And being a little bit older than most of them, the rest of the kids were all sort of like, you know, 7, 8, and being a teenager was sort of like a little bit more into it. Plus I had my flight simulator, so I understood a bit about how the aircraft worked. So I was just sat there chatting with the first officer the whole time, and the captain, and the rest of the kids kind of came in. The captain gave them his hat, and they sort of smiled for the mum and dad who got the photo and that, and then they disappeared and had no interest in it at all. Whereas, you know, I was like a kid in a sweet shop. It was like pure heaven for me. So yeah, it was a lovely experience, and the crew were fantastic. And eventually they managed to get the cargo door sorted, and then I got booted out of the cockpit, and like, well, unfortunately, son, we'd love to have you up here on the jump seat, but you're gonna have to go back and sit with your parents now. To which I was like, oh, what a pain, what an absolute pain. I'll be you next Thursday, minus the delay. Yeah, hopefully minus the delay, mate. Hopefully. This is 10 minutes out. Thank you very much, JT. Thank you, mate. I'm looking forward to seeing the ATR. I haven't seen one in a little while. Claire Martin, it's going to Funchal. Woohoo! That's where I'll be going in a few months' time. Cannot wait. Going to Madeira. Got Logan Air, Embraer 145 taxiing out as well. All the movements are happening now. Woo! And finally I can actually feel the ends, I can feel the tips of my fingers again, which is quite nice. Got some circulation going again. When we next have a bit of a break, folks, I'm going to have a quick cup of tea. Right, Jet 2 is just at the holding point and is about to line up, so Jet 2 is just about to go. Whilst Logan is racing along to runway 25. Right, we'll pan over to the Jet 2. Once again, a big, massive welcome, huge welcome to each and every one of you on board the live stream. It's great to have you all on board. Big G, good morning. Welcome to the live stream. Lovely to have you on board. Even better that it's your local and you've just seen the KLM departing. Nice one, mate. Nice one. Great to have you with us, and I hope you're having a good Monday, mate. It won't be too long, just another about an hour or so, and we'll be getting the Emirates from Dubai landing, which will be good. Right, here comes the Jet 2 737-800. I won't be flying on this flight. I'll be flying from down in London down to Madeira, but yeah, another few months I'll be heading there. Cannot wait. I just booked it the other day and I'm super excited. Right, here's the Jet 2 coming. Up and away. Beautiful, lovely. Jet 2 airborne. Now we're just waiting for the Loganer. Newcastle Flyer, nice one, mate. That's nice. It's always good when you get a really friendly crew like that. I've got to say, most crews are pretty good. The only ones I find, some certain countries, not saying who, but some particular countries can be a little bit funny when you ask the cabin crew in particular if you can visit the cockpit. UK crews tend to be pretty good about it because most of them, you know, start off with some sort of enthusiasm about it. On the other hand, some of the worst ones I've had, nearly, well, 10 plus years ago, were actually British ones as well. And it was about the time when filming on aircraft was just becoming, you know, more popular. And a lot of the older generation, the older crews didn't like it. And some still don't. You still get the odd cabin crew member who's a little bit older who just, they never like that whole thing of you taking a video or a picture next to the window with other people sat around, which, you know, it's a generational thing. I think is a bit, everyone's different, but I've noticed it less so over the last, particularly the last 4 or 5 years, which is good. It's just becoming more normal now, which is nice. Very strong connection considering it's windy. Yes, yeah, just using a normal mobile phone hotspot. Nothing exceptional. Just a normal internet hotspot, really. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's nice, and I hope that it's nice and quick, and it should be now because I've made a few tweaks and so on, and it should get even better once we get the new cables out soon. So hopefully they should be arriving this week in theory. And also another little thing for all of you, our next live stream potentially should be in 4K. So keep an eye out for that one. It should be in 4K in theory, so that'd be nice. Right, here's the Loganer rolling. Up and away. Whoops. Bit too up and away. The camera pattern was anyway. See the fire trucks just over there in the far distance, which is nice. Morning everyone. Morning everyone from France. Bonjour monsieur. Welcome to the live stream. Great to have you with us. TUI cabin crew have attitude problems, Wayne. Yeah. To be honest, it's that. I think the last time I flew with TUI was from Gatwick or Birmingham down to Malta, and that was in 2008, 2000, well, it was Thompson then, But yeah, I couldn't say because I honestly, I prefer flying with low-cost carriers if I'm honest, but yeah.
Ryan Phillips, you're saying, right, Newcastle Flyer. Lingus just called to the tower, continue to let the Loganer go.
Ah, yep. Don't know how on earth I missed that, but there's the... Thank you, Newcastle Flyer. I don't know how I missed that, but there's the Aer Lingus. There it is. Aer Lingus ATR. All the way from good old Ireland, all the way from the Emerald Isle. Worrying if signals are... Yeah, it is, yeah. You need a good signal here, especially at the airport. Oh dear. Lewis York, you never knew the runway dipped. Yeah, it's got a little dip. I think there's about... I forget the exact difference, but there's a good elevation difference from this end to the other end. in the middle anyway. So yeah, it sort of dips down and around. Always love watching turboprops in windy conditions. Drifting just a little bit to the side. Aer Lingus is, you can see those birds again. Aer Lingus is now only the second airline to operate turboprops into Newcastle Airport on a scheduled basis, the other one being Eastern Airways. So up until Flybe went under again the other day, Flybe operated here, Aer Lingus obviously, and Eastern Airways, but now there's just the two of them. Which is a shame, because in crosswinds and in windy conditions, they are the ones that you want to see landing here. You always want to see turboprops. And I'm lucky because years ago when I used to do the big crosswind compilations, we had, you know, 3-4 Flybe flights a day. We had 2 to 3 Aer Lingus flights a day, and Eastern Airways ones as well. But now it's next to nothing apart from 2 or 3 a day, which is a shame. Because they're so spread out, the weather can be bad at one point and very good the next. Oh, that was quick. That Logan Air Emperor is literally just going overhead now. It's been a very quick turn. Is this a passion to watch planes? It's a passion. It's a big interest, I'll put it that way. A big interest of mine for quite a few years. And been doing live streams for about 2 years now as well. So went down and did a live stream from the Hilton Hotel down at London Heathrow for the last British Airways 747 flight. Yeah, Mark, Logan Air overhead. Yes, I've just seen it, mate. Unfortunately, I couldn't pan out quick enough just to get it. But yeah, I did see it. Thank you. But yeah, I've been doing live streams for a few years now, and I've got to say it's nice because, you know, yes, at times it's quiet, particularly this time of year. You do get to share something unique with your audience. To have everyone on board tuned in is really, really nice. So, is it a passion? Yes, I would say it is. I don't think I'd get up at 7 o'clock in the morning if it wasn't. It's the Aer Lingus just taxiing in over there. See behind the bushes. Oh, there's some people working on the roof. Up on the roof. Actually, I better not put that just in case YouTube copyrights it. Anyone who knows that song, you know what I mean. Which they used A320s. Well, the thing is, because Ryanair have such a dominant presence on the Newcastle-Dublin route, there really is no space for Aer Lingus. Because, I mean, they already have so many passengers. You know, to be honest, they would never fill an A320 because Ryanair just dominates this route. So an ATR's, you know, works well for them. Gets them some transatlantic traffic as well. So yeah, it works. So overhead, no trails. Yeah, there's been virtually no trails this morning. Apart from 2, and I think one of them was a Norwegian. I couldn't see that US Air Force KC-135, which was a bit of a pain. Up, hey, great to have them. We've got Hop E190. Hop E190 is just 10 minutes out. Happy days, mate. Happy days. Not too far then. Not too far. Then the Emirates will just be about an hour. So we're getting there.
Brian Morrison just saying hi from
a sunny Whitley Bay. Good morning, mate. Lovely to have you on board. And it is. It's beautiful in the north, isn't it? It's absolutely lovely. I travelled down from up further up in Northumberland, so I'm up around near Rannoch, and travelled down this morning. And honestly, it was beautiful. It was really nice. The sunrise and everything. But yeah, hope you have a lovely Monday, Brian. Great to have you on the live stream.
How would you get this spot? You usually just go in the airport
Freightway. To be honest, the airport freightway is actually easier to get to. So I was saying earlier on with this spot that you've got to walk a good 30 to 45 minutes minimum from either the metro at Callerton Parkway or park down at Callerton Parkway. Park, so you can park all the way down there. Otherwise, you can cycle it, which is easier. It is a trek. If you look on Google Maps, there's actually a Google Maps location and a pin on this spot. But to be honest with you, the other spot on the freightway is actually A, easier to get to, and B, you get closer to the airport, so it's a little bit, I would say that other spot is better in my opinion, and easier to get to. So.
Thank you for the response. It's very professional from Romania, lived in the UK for 5 years. Supersonic military planes.
Great, thank you very much for your comment. CK UK, lovely to have you on board, and I hope you're having a good Monday, mate. Yeah, I do like, I like a mix of aircraft myself, not just civil. I like the supersonic ones, the military ones, and so on, and they're very, very impressive to see. Actually, that's one thing I will do one day in the next few months is a live stream from one of our Lossiemouth, because they are getting more and more activity up at Lossiemouth at the moment. So they've got the Typhoons. Got the P8 Poseidons, and they do get quite a few visitors, like the US Navy and other ones, so we might do a live stream from there. I think there's a joint exercise coming up for Joint Warrior in another few months, so we'll maybe try and get up there then. That'll be good. 92 people watching. Ah, fantastic. It's lovely to have everyone on board. Really, really great. 4K stream, yeah, the 4K one will be good. 4K will be good. As much as anything else, the main reason I'm planning on doing the 4K stream is because at the moment, if I want to film something, so I can film it on this camcorder, but the problem is it only records it in 50 frames per second. That's the highest, best quality it will do. Whereas if I want to record a clip to, keep it and edit it, I'd rather do that on the 4K camcorder than on this one. So that's my reasoning behind doing the live streams in 4K. The downside is that 4K with the live stream is probably going to absolutely kill my data package. So I need to look at getting an unlimited one. Otherwise, I'm going to have BT and EE messaging me saying, "Dear Mr. Winton, we're sorry to inform you, but you've used all your data up and you've only done a 6-minute live stream." So yeah, I'm probably going to have to look into changing my data contract with them if we're going to do regular 4K live streams. But yeah, hopefully that's something in the
near future. There's a road next to it. Really wanted to go around to be closer to the planes.
That road I wouldn't recommend going down if it's the one I'm thinking of. So basically there's one where it says restricted vehicles only, and that is the one into the freightway, down where the Samson Aviation apron is. And security is pretty good in terms of being on form and making sure nobody goes there. And yet, ironically, when the Sunderland Air Show used to be on, you could go there and nobody batted an eyelid. So it's a bit of a weird one. The Hop Emperor 190 is on final approach now. We can see it on the 25 end, so we'll just pan over to that. It's just on short final, folks, so it'll be landing in just a momento. Any fancy equipment, no, nothing. Just bog standard, usual cable connection, basically. Nothing extravagant, nothing fancy. Just a very, very easy setup, to be honest. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do the 4K one, is to. It'll mean I don't have to bring an extra camcorder, because at the moment I always have to bring an extra one to do separate filming on, which I'd rather not do. If I could just do it off the one along with the live stream, then that would be ideal. Because then if I get a clip where I think, oh, that's really nice, I'd like to share that as a separate video with everyone later, it's easier just to be able to press record there and then than having to move over to another tripod and hit record on that. So, but yeah, just nothing interesting, to be honest. Just normal HDMI cable and all that. You phone? No, I don't use the phone. I use a laptop for live streaming and a camcorder. So that's the setup I use. Very basic, but it works. I have used the phone, but the phone is a little bit. The phone's a little bit hit and miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends. But yeah, the laptop through OBS is definitely the best, in my opinion. There's those pesky birds again. Not sure how good the 3 network is. I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure. I would never. Never use the 3 network anyway. I had a really negative experience with 3 many years ago, and I'll never use 3 again for that reason. Yeah, I basically, at the time when I was moving house, I got a dongle with them. They were really bad. There we go, touchdown. That's the Hop Embraer 190 down on the ground, folks. Sorry for being so negative there. As soon as you typed 3 network Newcastle fly, sorry mate, just yeah. Sent a small shiver down my spine. I've been with them ever since that time for about 12 years now. I've been with BT. Never had a single issue with them. But yeah, 3. I got a dongle where you were supposed to get unlimited data and this, that and the other, and I got a whopping big bill for 1 month, which was like £115, and I disputed it, and they eventually said, oh yes, it was incorrect and all this, that and the other, but the hassle I had of trying to get that sorted was ridiculous, and I said then I would never go with them again. It was just terrible. Right. Anyway, on a more positive note, the Hop Embraer 190 has landed. There's a TUI 737-800 which should be departing very shortly as well, folks, so we should be getting to see that. See that windsock? It's fairly windy. The Air France is taxied on to stand. I'm just going to have a quick cup of tea because I could quite do with a bit of a warmer up. I left my thermal cup behind this morning with a cup of tea in it. It's not that much your laptop needs a good processor. Yeah, that's true, but then again, that's dependent on the laptop. I mean, for instance, I use mine for processing 4K, rendering 4K all the time. So it's if you get yourself a decent laptop with a good processor, then yeah, it's not really an issue, to be honest. But you do need to have the kit for it. Lewis York, you with EE? Yep, same here, mate. Same here. I've got to say, I was with BT, but the network and mobile stuff is all provided by EE, and it's great. It works really, really well. Yeah, down to geographical area. Yeah, I'm not saying that there was any issues as such. It was just their customer service was absolutely appalling. So yeah, you know, as I've dealt with BT for many years and never had an issue with their customer service. But then again, you know, everything's different for different people, because I've heard of ones dealing with them and they've said they were horrendous and they would never go with them again. So you know, everyone's different. It's what works, that's the main thing, as long as it works, and if it doesn't, then there's a problem. Right, we've got those three lined up, just waiting for the TUI now. I'm just going to have a quick cup of tea, folks. I'll still be here with you, so keep your comments coming in, keep your questions if you've got any. I3 process, I think mine's the 7, so yeah, it's... Janet Lowe, you're just nipping off now. Thanks, Scheduled. Catch you on the next one. Janet, it's been great to have you on the live stream, and I hope you have a lovely Monday. It's so good to have you on board. You take care of yourself. Right, I am going to pour a cup of tea, folks. I just had a minor moment where I thought I might have forgotten to bring my cup, but thankfully I have remembered it, which is great. I'll have a quick browse of flight radar in just a second as well. Sandwich today, ham, cheese and coleslaw. Oh, and tomato as well. Bit of a BLT, although minus the bacon and the lettuce. William Michael Saunders, really enjoying the live streams. Thank you very much, mate. It's lovely to have you on board, and everyone else as well. Newcastle Fly, you've just said he's got clearance. Literally, you've just put that in the chat, mate. You're an absolute legend. Thank you very much. That's him just pushing back there. Spot on. So there we go. I might not get a chance to finish my cup of tea at this rate. Shortly, folks, I'll have to change the battery on the camcorder, so the live stream will go off for a moment or two, and then I'll be back on. Just this battery's down to about 20%, so I'll have to change that shortly. Telephone master at 10 o'clock. Aye, there is. If I look over there, let's do some telephone mast Planespotting, shall we? Telephone mast spotting, I should say. There you go, Mark. There's a telephone mast. I'm not going to say any more. An advert just came on. Why did that happen? Probably because an advert came on with YouTube, because it's set to be on. So, well, it should be like that. Right, cup of tea time. Oh, I've got a funny feeling this 2 years just about a taxi. I thing, to be honest with you. Like, equipment and everything aside, best thing is always bring a hot drink with you. And it's far easier said than it is done. The amount of times I've been here, forgotten to bring a flask, and been absolutely frozen for the rest of the day is too many times to count. And to the point where your fingers are blue. And invest in a decent pair of gloves. That's one thing I did last year, and I'll tell you what, it's been a lot better. A lot better. Can you show us like a selfie? Not a chance, dear me. You don't want to see my ugly mug in the face. In fact, actually, if you want to see my ugly mug, if you watch yesterday's... oh dear, everyone will probably go and watch it now. If you go and watch my video yesterday, flying Jota's RJ85, you can see it 2 or 3 times in there where I do a bit of commentary, so feel free to. Jet 2 flight taking off from Malaga now, back into Newcastle. Hey! Advert came on here too, yeah. Fan of coffee. I love coffee as well, mate. Absolutely love coffee. But if I'm making a flask, I always prefer a flask of tea. Just tea, if you're having it for the rest of the day. I've had a flask where, you know, I can make it last about 14-15 hours off one. So yeah, but coffee tends to curdle a little bit easier than tea does. So I definitely prefer tea if I'm doing Planespotting. This is live now, it is indeed. Northumbria helicopter about to take off. Thanks, mate. I'll presume that'll be the R1 star 44 coming out there. Dear me. It's the two we just taxied past the tower. Once again, folks, I'd see there's still 50-60 plus of you tuned in, so big thank you to all of you who've tuned in. I know it's been windy and a bit bad on the audio side, but it's been lovely to have you all on board, so thank you all very much for being here. And just keeping an eye out for this Northumbria helicopter just to see if I can see it. I hope that Emirates isn't delayed too much, because we'll start eating to our battery life after that. So Tui taxiing down to runway 25. Thank you very much, Newcastle. Cheers, mate. Should get that very shortly. Vincent, the TUI is off to sunny Gran Canaria. Very nice. I was just there at the end of November for a couple of days, and that was absolutely lovely. Quick flight with Ryanair from here to Gran Canaria, jump off the plane, get my passport stamped to say that I've been to Gran Canaria, and quickly through security, down to the beach, and then jump into the sea less than an hour after landing. Oh, I do like Gran Canaria, especially when it's so hot. You can just jump in the sea, and it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. I never used to understand years ago. I could never understand the thrill of going away at winter. It's like, why would people want to go at winter time? The older I've got, the more times I've been away over the winter, the more I appreciate why people go away during the winter. Because getting a little bit of sunshine and heat away from this country doesn't half make a difference. You can understand why the Scandinavians all do it, and people in this country as well. It's well worth it. Tui, clear for takeoff. Thank you very much, mate. Still haven't seen that Northumbria helicopter yet. Just kept an eye on him on the right hand side. Haven't seen him yet. Hopefully he has a nice long takeoff roll. So one thing I missed during the summer is you're always guaranteed lots of passenger numbers. So you can typically, you know that most of the flights, the likes of Gran Canaria and so on, are going to be taken off quite long. V1, rotate, V2, positive rate, gear up. Very nice indeed. Oh, actually, I don't know if you can all see on flight radar, the Emirates to Glasgow is just overhead somewhere. Actually, let me just manually focus it. I'll just manually focus on the Emirates for you all. Just bear with me 1 second. Manual focus. Where is he? Ah, there it is. There's the Emirates. Emirates 3-3 heading to Glasgow. So whilst we haven't seen the Emirates here at Newcastle yet, at least there's one to Glasgow. Oh man, there we go. There we go, some overhead plane spot for you all. Right, we'll turn it back to auto now. So, Aer Lingus should be going in just a few moments. Steve Marchant, Ryanair from Malaga's due in 15 minutes, that's right mate, and also got the British Airways from Heathrow, which is coming in around the same time as well. So we've got those two coming in. Jackie Hutton, great viewpoint, thank you very much Jackie, cheers. Lovely having you on the live stream. The Northumbria is probably just getting ready to go. I shall keep an eye on the south side of the airport and just see if he does make an appearance. Vincent, you have to turn off November and August. I don't blame you mate, I don't blame you. I'd go tomorrow if I was you. There's nothing better than just going, to the Canaries, a little bit of sunshine, 20-30 degrees, in December, swimming in the sea, going and having a meal outside, walk down by the beach, a nice quiet afternoon by the airport with your camera. You can do that, all those things here, and don't get me wrong, in this country they're just as enjoyable at the right time of year, but this time of year it's kind of not as enjoyable. It does tend to be a lot cooler. Oops, sorry, I just knocked the camera. Better than the viewpoint at the Dinnington end with the bench. It's a good one here. It's a good one. Like I say, it's a bit of a walk to get to, but it's well worth it. Tuned in at the right time when that TUI was taken off. You did indeed, yeah. And if you stick around, we'll be getting a British Airways and a Ryanair landing very shortly, and an Aer Lingus departing as well. So got a couple more movements to go, and then the Emirates should hopefully be here, in theory. With a cold beer, aye. you have a cold beer here at this time of year, and it's like, you have it on a beach, or down by the beach, I should say, in a warmer climate. It just tastes so much better. I'm not advocating it, but it is very nice. Saying that, I don't know if anyone tuned into Madeira Planespotting into his live stream the other day, but I was absolutely. I was over the moon. He was doing his live stream, and he showed all his viewers. He was like, "Well, guys, there's a bit of a break in the traffic, so now I'm going to have a drink." And at which point, he showed all the viewers in front of the camcorder the bottle of wine he was drinking, along with the food and salad that he was having. I was like, "What a legend! What an absolute legend!" But yeah, you do that in this country, and it's just like, really, is that person's got a problem if you did that here? But, just keeping an eye on the battery life. We'll have to change it very shortly. Just checking flight radar 24, folks, and that Ryanair's just about to touch down. I'm a little bit concerned about the battery life we have on the laptop for doing the stream. I did try at home a test using the battery pack, and it doesn't seem to have worked. So yeah, it's a bit of a pain. But yeah, I did try a couple of things to increase the battery life, but because I started a little bit early and the Emirates is delayed, we're going to be touch and go whether we get the Emirates, unfortunately, because it is that bit delayed and we started much earlier. But just have to monitor it and see how it goes. But anyway, the Ryanair will be landing in just a few minutes. Not too long. On the left hand side you can see the tail of the two Jet 2 737s and also the ASL Airlines cargo. ASL Airlines 737-400, that is. The Aer Lingus ATR should be going very shortly, hopefully. For a moment there, in that sunshine, you can actually feel a little bit of warmth, which is quite nice. It's another fire vehicle just heading over to the remote stand. There's already one, sorry, on the stand where the Emirates is. There's already one there, and then there's another one just going along there. So, two fire vehicles there. Out and about with a little bit of an exercise. Ryanair turning base leg now. Thank you very much, mate. I can hear the Aer Lingus ATRs just starting its engines now, and I can see the Ryanair just turning just on the base leg for runway 25. Lingus has just started up over there. And the Ryanair is just about to make a left turn on a final approach now. So it's just about to land. Messing around with their spare battery pack and tried to get it connected to the laptop to extend the battery life, and it worked. We tried it here and it's not working, so I'm gonna have to investigate that and look into getting another battery or something, or a spare, just to increase the length of the live streams. So I'll have to give that a go. Back. Going to Echo Point, Northumbria helicopter is. Yeah, I see it, mate, I see it. Thank you very much, Newcastle Flyer, that's him there. ER44. Echo Point heading straight out to the north. Super duper. Northumbria helicopters one, just parking out. There's the Ryanair in the background. See, the wind's just catching it. Now here comes the Ryanair. Excuse me. nicely done. You can tell that wind's died down a little bit. Definitely not as strong as it was, say, an hour or a bit ago. It's definitely much better now. Aer Lingus is just about to taxi out now. Aer Lingus taxiing runway 25, super duper. British Airways should be coming in very shortly as well. There's the Aer Lingus, just taxiing along runway 25. I think it's Equinia Hotel Delta Hotel, I think. 200%, I'm pretty sure it is. Spitfire F100, good morning mate. How are you on the live stream? How are you doing? So Ryanair just vacated. I'm going to say Malaga is one of those airports I've been to a few times now. It's a really nice place. Really, really beautiful. And the Ryanair. Very nice. Head back to the Ryanair now. Just heading straight in on the stand. Emirates is getting later and later. I might have to change plans for the Emirates. I'm gonna have to might have to start the live stream on my phone and try that, folks, just to give you all a bit more content. I'll have to reset it. So I'll wait till the Aer Lingus has departed and then get it on. Like I say, folks, I might have to switch to the mobile phone to live stream. We'll see how smooth it is. But if you all bear with me, once this Aer Lingus is departed, we'll try and swap that over and get the stream going on that. Just unfortunately, the laptop's not faring that well. Let's just say that. Yeah, I know, it's typical, I know. What's more typical is my battery life. That's something that hopefully in the future will be addressed. Now though, just focus on the Aer Lingus. lights are up and away. Start the process of switching from the laptop over to my mobile phone. So this might take me a minute or two. The live stream will still be on, it may disconnect for about 30 seconds to a minute, but I'm going to try and have as little changeover as possible. But if you all bear with me, I'll try and make this work, so just bear with me, folks. Mark, you never mentioned that, mate. Air France has just been given clearance, so it shouldn't be too long. I'm just getting this all set up. Just trying to get this live stream changed over, so just bear with me. Switch over, and then I'll need you to let me, I'm about to switch over to my mobile phone, and I'll need you to let me know how the quality is, if it's okay, the same, worse, whatever. So I'm just going to do that now, so if you bear with me, there will be a slight changeover. I'm just going to change over to the mobile phone, so bear with me.